Right, in this video we are going to be graphing lines that are not in y equals mx plus b form. So what do you do if your equation isn't in the form y equals mx plus b? Well, I like to solve for y, so we'll put it in y equals form, and then we'll graph like normal, like we normally know how to do. So we basically need to change the problem to look like one that we know how to graph. All right, so this is actually in standard form. It says 2x minus 7y equals 14. We would like it to say y equals. So we're going to have to think about our solving just a little bit here. If I want this part to be by itself, I actually want the y to be by itself, the first thing that I want to do is to get rid of this positive 2x. To get rid of a positive 2x, we're going to do negative 2x. Okay, so those are now gone. I still have negative 7y, and these two, they are not like terms, so I cannot put them together. So I'm just going to leave it as 14 minus 2x. All right, then from here, I still want the y by itself, and the negative 7 is multiplied by the y right now, so we're actually going to divide all three parts by negative 7. So now we're going to have negative 7 divided by negative 7. They cancel each other out because that equals 1. So I'm going to have y equals 14 divided by negative 7 is negative 2. And then a negative divided by negative is a positive, and 2 does not divide by 7 very nicely. So we're just going to leave it as 2/7 x. Right? We now have a problem that's in a form that we know how to graph. So I like to circle the part that doesn't have the x. So I'm going to circle that part. So I'm going to start on the y-axis at negative 2. Okay, and then from there, I know my rise is 2 and my run is 7. So from this point, I'm going to go up 2 and then over 7, which brings me off the graph a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and connect them, and voila, I've got my line. Okay, let's try another one. X minus 2y equals 8. The first thing that I am going to do is put a 1 in front of the x, just so that there's a number there. Okay, again, my goal is to make it say y equals. So this is the part that I want to be by itself. So if I want this part by itself, to get rid of a positive 1x, I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. Okay, these are now canceled out. So now I have negative 2y equals, I'm not allowed to combine those because they're not like terms, so I'm just going to keep it as 8 minus 1x. And now to get rid of the negative 2, since it's multiplied, we're going to divide all three parts by the negative 2. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 is just 1, so we have y equals 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4, and then a negative divided by a negative is once again a positive. 1 divided by 2 does not divide out nicely, so we're just going to leave it as a fraction, 1/2 x. This once again is now in a form that I know how to graph. I'm going to circle the part that doesn't have the x because that will be my y-intercept. So it's going to, this line is going to cross the y-axis at negative 4. So go ahead and put a point there. And then from here, I know my slope is 1/2, so from here I'm going to rise 1 and I'm going to run 2. And that's where I'll put my second point. And then we can go ahead and connect it. All right, number 9, I would love for you to try on your own, so please pause the video at this point in time and then come back when you're done to see if you got it right. 3x plus 5y equals negative 15. Again, I want the y by itself, so I'm just going to circle that so I know that that's what I want. I don't want the 3x, so to get rid of the 3x, we're going to do minus 3x to both sides. So these are gone. So I now have 5y equals, we cannot combine these because they are not like terms, so negative 15 minus 3x. And then to get y by itself, we will divide all three parts by 5. So now we're going to have 5 divided by 5 was just 1, so we'll get y equals negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. This is going to stay negative. 3 divided by 5 does not work out nice, so we'll just keep it as 3/5 x. So now we are ready to graph. I'm going to circle the part that doesn't have the x on it because that will tell me where to start. So I'm going to go on the y-axis down at negative 3 and put a point. And then from here, we are going to go down 3 and over 5 and put another point. And so now what I'm going to do from there is we can go ahead and connect them, and we have our line. So hopefully now you can graph a line that is not in slope-intercept form.